busy, and not just like busy, calendar busy, but busy in my sewing room. I've been doing some cleaning, been letting go of some of those half-baked projects that didn't turn out, so I'd have a little more room in here. I need to get some of my stuff that's strung all over the house back in here so that the house looks good for the holidays, because you know they are coming. Anyway, should you like what you listened to today, or you like hanging out with me for a little bit while you sew or work on one of your projects, please consider subscribing and liking or leaving me a comment. I love comments. I say that all the time, and I only get a few. So, you know, if you have time, drop me a line, or just, you know, tell me something you like, or show me something you're doing. I would love to see what everybody else is doing. So I'm going to just jump right in and get right to it, because I have a lot of things I want to show you and a lot of things I want to talk about. So the first thing I want to show you is I am going to turn this maybe and see. Do you see those string blocks back there? That's not a very good picture. I'll try to put some at the end. I have so much fabric that's too much. It's like too big of pieces to throw away, too small of pieces to make, whatever. And you know, I'm working on some just bed quilts, not quilts that, you know, you would display, or quilts that maybe you would put, well, you could put it at the foot of the bed, but I'm talking about like cover up in the middle of the night blanket kind of quilt. So that's gonna kind of be how I clear some of that out. I'm gonna make some different sizes, and if anybody in the family wants them, including extended family, for their beds or, you know, their picnics or whatever, then they can have those, because I make them all. I make everybody in the family pretty quilts. Somebody new joins, they get a quilt. New baby born, they get a quilt. Get married, get a quilt. So these are just trying to, like, I don't know, be purposeful. And if people don't want them, then I will just donate them. I'm hoping some people want some for their beds for the winter, but I don't mind donating them, and I will find places to donate them. But I've got that going on. And then I also have a Sew Kind of Wonderful project going on, because I'm a certified instructor for Sew Kind of Wonderful. And I think you can see this little pumpkin right here, but I'm going to pull it up. Just, aren't those cute? I think they're cute. Really cute. So I have some neutral ones, and they're all just a teeny bit different, ready to go, and some stems ready to go. But I wanted to show you that, I wanted to show you the pattern, and I want to show you, I also have some oranges that I'm going to put in there with it. There's kind of a solid one. There's one. Oh, and with those, I'm going to add a little gold, because I think that'll look really, really pretty. Anyway, and I'm using this Essex linen for my background. I love to quilt on Essex linen. It always looks so pretty. And it gives a little texture of its own to the project. So I kind of like that sort of thing. So I have that going on. I just love, oh, now there's the pattern. There's the pattern. I don't know, I've kind of got it rounded. Let's see. Is that better? Anyway, I think it's so cute. So I love Sew Kind of Wonderful rulers. I'm having so much fun making round, making curved, not having to pin, not having to find center, just to kind of get in a groove and make a lot of those things. So I've really been enjoying that. So I have that going on. And did you see how prepared and organized all that was? I'm not usually like that, but it's a goal. It's a goal. Let's see what else I have. I have an almost finished. Back a few months ago, I showed you this pattern, probably back in the spring, because this is a spring book. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? And this is called Summer Picnic. and it was designed by Debora Rivera. And it says confident beginner. I think it's very much a beginner quilt. Confidence is always good, but it's very much a beginner quilt. So I'm just gonna kind of hold it up here. I haven't bound it yet. And I lost a bobbin chicken when I was, and I got to like, the very last corner, maybe 3 to 4 inch corner square, and had to put in a new bobbin. But let me see if I can hold that up and you can see. Hopefully, I can't see through. So are you able to see it? Would it look better? Maybe I should put it up here. Hold on. Excuse my back. Oops. I cleaned all the thread off my, well, not all, but a bunch, and stuff is sticking a little better, but can you see that? Let me turn it a little for you. Oh, that's Tilda hibernation in there. I worked on it while I was at Quilt Retreat in Liberty at Quilting is My Therapy. I just got all these little pieces done, and then I came home. That was the last thing I did on the last day. But then I came home and did this blue and or green. This is green. I don't know why I said blue. And then I put this little blue green. Maybe that's where I was going as part of my quilting. And it is so fine, which is a 50 weight thread, and it's 510. It is a beautiful color. Let me show you. Sorry, in and out, in and out. Isn't this pretty? It's really more green than blue, but in the camera it looks kind of bluish, but I just love it. And I think I used a Pro Stitcher Feather Delight, and I like it. And I have my binding all cut. I'm gonna work on that this afternoon. I was gonna go do a little shopping and get a color, but then I looked at the picture of Deborah's here, and she had just bound in the same color, and I had enough, and I don't need extra fabric. I have gobs and gobs of fabric. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna do with that. And and it's a very well written pattern too. Very well written pattern. I can't wait till she can sell it to the world. And if you can't wait and you have this, it's Quilter's World, and it was summer 2024. Fun magazine. I don't get subscriptions anymore. Well, I get my AQS, but I don't get subscriptions anymore. I just kind of buy one here and there, because after I get about 10, then I donate them somewhere for some, leave them in doctor's office, that kind of stuff. Give them to friends, whatever. I just really, I like to have a magazine once in a while. I just like to have something I can flip through. And sometimes I'll buy a book because I like to read up on, or I like to flip through and look at the pictures. I have one that's supposed to land here sometime today. I'll have to show you that next time. Okay. So let me show you something else that's in progress. This is my coat. I'm working on my coat. I'm not going to get it done in time for vacation, so I've just kind of put it aside and finished some things that I could get finished. Now, I've done some stuff with my pattern, and you know what? I love this pattern. This is another So Kind of Wonderful quilt pattern, Urban Abacus, I believe. And, it needs sleeves, and it needs pockets, and it needs binding. It needs to be quilted, but I have it this far. And as you can see, I did the back the same way. And I just tossed in some reds and some lighter blues here and there. Now, the other thing I did was I made it a lot longer. And I did that because I'm kind of long torsoed, and the jacket was really short. So I was always going to have a shirt tail hanging out, and that's cute once in a while, but not all the time. So I made it a little longer. I'm not sure I'm going to leave it this long. And I have pockets that go here, and I think I'm going to break up the pattern. The other thing is I have already found another pattern to make my next one. Now, I don't know that I'm going to love this, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try it, and then I'm going to go from here to there. And if I end up wearing it for an everyday coat when I run to the Y for aqua size, or I, you know, whatever, if it's just my fall jacket or just a jacket to wear sitting out on the front porch or on the patio when the weather's cool, that's great, because I love the fabric. I like the idea of the pattern. I'm just not positive I picked the very best pattern for the to make the fabric to make it. So I have found another, and yes, it's a curvy one. So I will have to, I'm gonna make a few of those squares this week or in a few weeks, and see if maybe I don't want to make it a little bit differently. But I am making progress. And boy, I love making these. I just love the curvedness. They kind of look like trees, don't they? Kind of look like trees. Anyway, I also have this finish I wanted to show you. I'm going to show you the back because it's minky and you can see. I believe this is called Squiggle or Squiggy. And it's another Pro Stitcher. I just love this Michael Miller print that I used to make it. This is for a very special little young man. And hopefully I can get it in the mail this week. Oh, one thing I wanted you to see that I'm getting ready to put away, and you didn't get to see, is I used up fabric I had purchased for the binding. Again, I am not big on the same and same, but I'm kind of getting bigger on it than I was. And do you see all this yellow? You know, and it comes down and around. So I kind of mixed it up a little bit just to give it something a little bit extra. So those are the things that I've made a lot of progress on. I have somebody come in this afternoon to bring a quilt, possibly more, that they need done fairly quickly. So I'm trying to kind of not start anything new and just keep working on what I've been working on for a little bit to make sure I can get those done in a timely fashion for my customer. But let's see. Oh, I also wanted to show you, and I will. I have a little bit of it. In film, and I'll add it to the end. I've got some other pictures and things I'll show you up close. But I just loaded some felt. If you're a long armor, do you find that you kind of overestimate bobbins a little bit? Now, a lot of times I have, I don't buy already wound bobbins. I've tried them, they're okay, I like them, but you know, it's just as easy for me to use my bobbin winder that came with my machine, and I like it. It does a great job. So, but here's what happens. I have all of these half used, 3/4 used, quarter used, or like this week when I did this, I have a whole bobbin minus 4 inches worth of stitching left over. So one of the things that I like to free motion quilt, and I like to do ruler work, and sometimes I just like to print some things out and see how they work or try a new technique. I'm starting to learn how I quilt on a handy quilter Amara, and I'm learning how to use mark better all the time. And sometimes I'll see something that they put on their weekly YouTube stuff, or I'll find, you know, Adam Ratliff or somebody over the years that you know, do all this stuff. And so then I try it. Well, here's what I do. I use leftover bobbin thread and clean off my bobbins. And I practice on felt. So I just loaded a piece of felt so I could do a little practicing in between things today. It's also holding my camera right now. My felt's right here. I'm behind my machine. So my felt's right up here in front of me, and it's holding my little tripod with the light, you know, my felt stuff. So that way I could get a little closer to you. I mean, it might be better if I was a lot further back, but anyway, So I'm going to spend a little time running some of those bobbins off. That's one of the things I do. The other thing I do is if I have a so fine bobbin, a lot of times, because I use a lot of Aurifil, like I have a cone of Aurifil, one color, and like I sat down yesterday and filled 8 bobbins. Now I have 8 bobbins of one color, and I have all of my color. And unless I need to change because it's too light and I'm doing something really dark or vice versa, I just leave it in there. But I can also take those bobbins and put them on my machine, because especially if they're so fine, because that's 50 weight and so is Aurifil. And so with that, like when I'm making those string piece or when I'm practicing a block, like these are practice blocks. It was just something I wanted to try. So I pieced a square, cut it to size, and made no waste flying geese, just to see what they would look like. And I like them. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the idea, but I like the idea. So, that's what I do with my bobbins. I don't know if you have a really good idea for using up bobbins that I haven't thought of. Would you please let me know? I'm talking about long arming bobbins, because I try to keep the colors straight, and if I have leftover and somebody picks a color or I pick a color, I try to do that to a certain degree. But that doesn't always work out well either, because sometimes I think I've got the right color, but it was a different weight. And then I have tension problems, and it's not exactly what they asked for or what I'm wanting. And so that's just one way I do it. I use it for my free motion practice, or I also use it for pro stitcher practice, because sometimes I get an idea and I will just do it in small version on felt. And I buy my felt off the bolt at, the box store. And I get the good stuff that they carry, the best that they carry, and I use my, my 50% off coupon or my 40% off 1 yard cut or whatever, one cut. And I think it's like, I want to say it's 72 inches wide, or 70 or 60. I think it's in the 70s. But anyway, I get the widest piece they have, and I get a big chunk of it, and I load it on my long arm. I practice. I cut it loose. I fold it up. I hate to say this, but my husband does. He takes all that practice and lines the back of his old beater that he drives to work, or lays it on the garage floor so he can crawl under something. Just different things. Sometimes we throw one in we have a kennel in our garage that one of our grand dogs stays in when he comes to visit and the weather's not great, and we'll throw it in there. But I don't do anything with them, but I learn a lot and I practice a lot. So I guess that's all I have. Just, leave me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or a comment. Tell me about what you do with leftover bobbins and how you run them off and what you do with them. And tell me what you practice long arming on. I don't worry about tension, other than just so that it's not creating great messes when I'm doing it on felt. I'm not trying to replicate a quilt. I'm trying to practice motion. If you've ever watched Chris Rivera long arm, or Angela Walters, or I'll think of her name in a minute. Oh, Natalia Bonner. That's what I was trying to think of. They have so much practice behind them. And you can draw and draw and draw, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I've learned a lot by drawing as far as can be. But until you put it on something with the machine, free motion, whether you're doing domestic machine or long arm machine, that's not complete practice. You know, you've got to get it on something. You've got to stand there and push that machine and work that machine and get your motion going. So that was the other thing I wanted to tell you. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic week. I'm doing a little fall cleaning here and there and putting out some pumpkins and putting out my little stuff and in the house. And I don't do a tremendous amount of decorating. I'm not a Halloween-y person. I like Halloween. I think it's great for kids, but I just decorate for fall, and then it's just there through Thanksgiving. And when Thanksgiving's over, I put up my pretty Christmas stuff. So anyway, have a great week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.